Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, is a member of the British royal family. He is the younger son of King Charles III and his first wife Diana, Princess of Wales. He is fifth in the line of succession to the British throne. Harry was educated at Wetherby School, Ludgrove School, and Eton College. He spent parts of his gap year in Australia and Lesotho, then underwent officer training at the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst. He was commissioned as a cornet into the Blues and Royals, serving temporarily with his brother William, and completed training as a troop leader. In 2007-2008, he served for over 10 weeks in Helmand Province, Afghanistan. He returned to Afghanistan for a 20-week deployment in 2012-2013 with the Army Air Corps. In June 2015, he resigned from the Army. Harry launched the Invictus Games in 2014 and remains the patron of its foundation. He also gives patronage to several other organizations, including the Halo Trust and Walking with the Wounded. To encourage people to open up about their mental health issues, Harry, alongside his brother and sister-in-law Catherine, initiated the Mental Health Awareness Campaign Heads Together in April 2016. In 2018, Harry was made Duke of Sussex prior to his wedding to American actress Meghan Markle. They have 2 children, Archie and Lilibet Mountbatten-Windsor. In January 2020, the couple stepped down as senior members of the royal family and moved to the Duchess's native Southern California. In October 2020, they launched Archewell Incorporated, an American public organization that focuses on non-profit activities and creative media ventures. Together with his wife, Harry also sat down for a much-publicized interview with Oprah Winfrey in March 2021, with whom he also produced the mental health documentary series The Me You Can't See. Early life. Prince Harry was born in the Lindo wing of St Mary's Hospital in Paddington, London, on September 15, 1984 at 4:20 p.m. as the second child of the Prince of Wales and his first wife, Diana, Princess of Wales. He was christened Henry Charles Albert David on December 21, 1984 at St George's Chapel, Windsor Castle, by the Archbishop of Canterbury, Robert Runcie. Growing up, he was referred to as Harry by family, friends, and the public. Harry and his elder brother, William, were raised at Kensington Palace in London, and Highgrove House in Gloucestershire. Diana wanted him and his brother to have a broader range of experiences and a better understanding of ordinary life than previous royal children. She took them to venues that ranged from Walt Disney World and McDonald's to AIDS clinics and homeless shelters. He began accompanying his parents on official visits at an early age. His first overseas tour was with his parents to Italy in 1985. He also traveled with his family to Canada in 1991 and 1998. Harry's parents divorced in 1996. His mother died in a car crash in Paris the following year. Harry and William were staying with their father at Balmoral at the time, and the Prince of Wales told his sons about their mother's death. At his mother's funeral, Harry, then aged 12, accompanied his father, brother, paternal grandfather, and maternal uncle, in walking behind the funeral cortege from Kensington Palace to Westminster Abbey. Education. Like his father and brother, Harry was educated at independent schools. He started at London's Jane Minners Nursery School and the pre-preparatory Wetherby School. Following this, he attended Ludgrove School in Berkshire. After passing entrance exams, he was admitted to Eton College. The decision to place Harry at Eton went against the past practice of the Mountbatten-Windsors to send children to Gordon's Tune, which Harry's grandfather, father, 2 uncles, and 2 cousins had attended. It did, however, see Harry follow in his older brother's footsteps and the Spencer families, as both Diana's father and brother attended Eton. As was the case with his brother, the royal family and the tabloid press agreed Harry would be allowed to study free from intrusion in exchange for occasional photograph opportunities in what became known as the Pressure Cooker Agreement. In June 2003, Harry completed his education at Eton with 2 A-levels, achieving a grade B in art and D in geography, having decided to drop history of art after A-level. He has been described as a top-tier athlete, having played competitive polo and rugby union. One of his former teachers, Sarah Forsyth, has asserted that he was a weak student and that staff at Eton conspired to help him cheat on examinations. Both Eton and Harry denied the claims. While a tribunal made no ruling on the cheating claim, it accepted the prince had received help in preparing his A-level expressive project, which he needed to pass to secure his place at Sandhurst. Harry also joined the combined cadet force while studying at Eton and was made cadet officer in his final year, leading the Corps' annual parade at the Eton Tattoo. After school, Harry took a gap year, during which he spent time in Australia working as a jackaroo on a cattle station, and participating in the Young England vs Young Australia polo test match. He also travelled to Lesotho, where he worked with orphaned children and produced the documentary film The Forgotten Kingdom. Military career: Sandhurst, Blues and Royals, deployment to Afghanistan. Harry entered the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst on May 8, 2005, where he was known as Officer Cadet Wales, and joined Alamein Company. In April 2006, Harry completed his officer training and was commissioned as a cornet in the Blues and Royals, a regiment of the Household Cavalry in the British Army. On April 13, 2008, when he reached 2 years seniority, Harry was promoted to lieutenant. In 2006, it was announced that Harry's unit was scheduled to be deployed in Iraq the following year. A public debate ensued as to whether he should serve there. In April 2006, the Ministry of Defense announced that Harry would be shielded from the front line if his unit was sent to war, with a spokeswoman stating that he was expected to undertake the fullest range of deployments, but his role needed to be monitored as his overt presence might attract additional attention that would put him or those he commanded at risk. Defense Secretary John Reid said that he should be allowed to serve on the front line of battle zones. Harry agreed, saying, "If they said no, you can't go front line, then I wouldn't drag my sorry ass through Sandhurst and I wouldn't be where I am now." The Ministry of Defense and Clarence House made a joint announcement on February 22, 2007 that Harry would be deployed with his regiment to Iraq, as part of the 1st Mechanist Brigade of the 3rd Mechanist Division, a move supported by Harry, who had stated that he would leave the army if he was told to remain in safety while his regiment went to war. The head of the British Army at the time, General Sir Richard Dannett, said on April 30, 2007 that he had personally decided that Harry would serve with his unit in Iraq as a troop commander, and Harry was scheduled for deployment in May or June 2007 to patrol the Maison Governorate. By May 16, however, Dannett announced that Harry would not serve in Iraq. Concerns included Harry being a high-value target and the dangers the soldiers around him would face should any attempt be made on his life or if he was captured. Clarence House made public Harry's disappointment with the decision, though he said he would abide by it. In early June 2007, it was reported that Harry had arrived in Canada to train alongside soldiers of the Canadian Forces and British Army, at CFB Suffield near Medicine Hat, Alberta. It was said that this was in preparation for a tour of duty in Afghanistan, where Canadian and British forces were participating in the NATO-led Afghan war. This was confirmed in February of the following year when the British Ministry of Defence revealed that Harry had been secretly deployed as a forward air controller to Helmand province in Afghanistan for the previous 10 weeks. The revelation came after the media, notably German newspaper Bild and Australian magazine New Idea, breached the blackout placed over the information by the Canadian and British authorities. He was immediately pulled out due to the fear that the media coverage would put his security and the security of fellow soldiers at risk. It was later reported that Harry helped Gurkha troops repel an attack from Taliban insurgents, and performed patrol duty in hostile areas while in Afghanistan. His tour made Harry the first member of the British royal family to serve in a war zone since his uncle, Prince Andrew, who flew helicopters during the Falklands War. For his service, his aunt, Princess Anne, presented Harry with an Operational Service Medal for Afghanistan at the Comer Mir Barracks in May 2008. Army Air Corps and Second Deployment to Afghanistan. In October 2008, it was announced that Harry would follow his brother, father, and uncle in learning to fly military helicopters. Harry attended the Defence Helicopter Flying School at RAF Shawbury, where he joined his brother. Prince Charles presented him with his flying brevet on May 7, 2010 at a ceremony at the Army Air Corps Base, Middle Wallop. Harry was awarded his Apache Flying Badge on April 14, 2011. On April 16, 2011, it was announced that Harry had been promoted to captain. In June 2011, Clarence House announced that Harry would be available for deployment in current operations in Afghanistan as an Apache helicopter pilot. The final decision rested with the Ministry of Defence's senior commanders, including principally the Chief of the Defence Staff in consultation with the wishes of Harry, the Prince of Wales, and the Queen. In October, he was transferred to a U.S. military base in California to complete his helicopter gunship training. This final phase included live-fire training and environmental and judgment training at Naval and Air Force facilities in California and Arizona. In the same month, it was reported that Harry was top of his class in extensive training undertaken at the Naval Air Facility, El Centro, California. While training in Southern California, he spent time in San Diego. In November 2011, Harry returned to England. He went to Wat Isham Airfield in Suffolk, in the east of England, to complete his training to fly Apache helicopters. On September 7, 2012, Harry arrived at Camp Bastion in southern Afghanistan as part of the 100-strong 662 Squadron, 3 Regiment, Army Air Corps, to begin a 4-month combat tour as a co-pilot and gunner for an Apache helicopter. On September 10, within days of arriving in Afghanistan, it was reported that the Taliban had threatened his life. Taliban spokesman Zabihullah Mujahid spoke to Reuters and was quoted as saying, "We are using all our strength to get rid of him, either by killing or kidnapping." He added, "We have informed our commanders in Helmand to do whatever they can to eliminate him." On September 18, 2012, it was reported that Harry had been moved to a safe location after an attack by the Taliban on Camp Bastion that killed 2 U.S. Marines. Defense Secretary Philip Hammond stated that additional security arrangements were put in place, for Harry could be a potential target, but added that he would face the same risk as any other Apache pilot while in combat. On January 21, 2013, it was announced that Harry was returning from a 20-week deployment in Afghanistan. He described his deployment as a joy for me because I'm one of those people who loves playing PlayStation and Xbox, so with my thumbs I like to think I'm probably quite useful. On July 8, 2013, the Ministry of Defense announced that Harry had successfully qualified as an Apache aircraft commander. Harry compared operating the Apache's weapons systems in Afghanistan to playing video games. He also discussed killing insurgents while piloting his Apache helicopter, and added, "We fire when we have to, take a life to save a life, but essentially we're more of a deterrent than anything else." HQ London District and Invictus Games. On January 17, 2014, the Ministry of Defence announced that Harry had completed his attachment to 3 Regiment Army Air Corps, and would take up a staff officer role, SO3 in HQ London District. His responsibilities would include helping to coordinate significant projects and commemorative events involving the Army in London. He was based at Horse Guards in central London. On March 6, 2014, Harry launched Invictus Games, a Paralympic-style sporting event for injured servicemen and women, which was held on 10-14 September 2014. Harry met British hopefuls for the Invictus Games at Didworth House in Wiltshire for the start of the selection process on April 29, 2014. On May 15, 2014, Harry attended a ticket sale launch for Invictus Games at BT Tower, from where he tweeted on the Invictus Games official Twitter account as the president of the Games. To promote the Games, he was interviewed by BBC Radio 2's Chris Evans along with two Invictus Games hopefuls. He said, "Is basically my full-time job at the moment, making sure that we pull this off." The show aired on July 31, 2014. Harry later wrote an article in the Sunday Times about his experiences in Afghanistan, how they had inspired him to help injured personnel and how, after the trip to the Warrior Games, he had vowed to create the Invictus Games. Harry and officials attended the British Armed Forces team announcement for Invictus Games at Potters Field Park in August 2014. As president of the Invictus Games, he attended all events related to the Games from 8 to September 14, 2014. In January 2015, it was reported that Harry would take on a new role in supporting wounded service personnel by working alongside members of the London District's Personal Recovery Unit for the MOD's Defence Recovery Capability Scheme to ensure that wounded personnel have adequate recovery plans. The Palace confirmed weeks later that the scheme was established in partnership with Help for Heroes and the Royal British Legion. In late January 2015, Harry visited the Battle Back Centre set up by the Royal British Legion, and Fisher House UK at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Birmingham. A partnership between Help for Heroes, the Fisher House Foundation and the Queen Elizabeth Hospital Birmingham charity created the centre. Fisher House Foundation is one of the Invictus Games sponsors. In February and March 2015, Harry visited Phoenix House in Catterick Garrison, North Yorkshire, a recovery centre run by Help for Heroes. He also visited Merville Barracks in Colchester, where Chavis VC House Personnel Recovery Centre is located, run by Help for Heroes in partnership with the Ministry of Defence and Royal British Legion. Secondment to Australian Defence Force. On March 17, 2015, Kensington Palace announced that Harry would leave the armed forces in June. Before then, he would spend 4 weeks throughout April and May at Army Barracks in Darwin, Perth, and Sydney whilst seconded to the Australian Defence Force. After leaving the Army, while considering his future, he would return to work in a voluntary capacity with the Ministry of Defence, supporting case officers in the Ministry's Recovery Capability Programme. He would be working with both those who administer and receive physical and mental care within the London District area. On April 6, 2015, Harry reported for duty to Australia's Chief of the Defence Force, Air Chief Marshal Mark Binskin at the Royal Military College, Duntroon in Canberra, Australia. Harry flew to Darwin later that day to begin his month-long secondment to the ADF's 1st Brigade. His visit included detachments to Norforce as well as to an aviation unit. While in Perth, he trained with Special Air Service Regiment, participating in the SASR selection course, including a fitness test and a physical training session with SASR selection candidates. He also joined SASR members in Perth for live-fire shooting exercises with numerous Special Forces weapons at a variety of ranges. Harry completed an insertion training exercise using a rigid-hull inflatable boat. In Sydney, he undertook urban operations training with the 2nd Commando Regiment. Training activities included remotely detonating an improvised explosive device and rappelling from a building. He also spent time flying over Sydney as co-pilot of an Army Black Hawk helicopter and participated in counter-terrorism training in Sydney Harbour with Royal Australian Navy clearance divers. Harry's attachment with the ADF ended on May 8, 2015, and on June 19, 2015 he resigned his short service commission. Post-military service. In 2021, Harry described his 10 years in the Army as the happiest times in my life. Since leaving the Army, he has been closely involved with the armed forces through the Invictus Games, honorary military appointments and other official engagements. On December 19, 2017, he succeeded his grandfather Prince Philip as the Captain General of the Royal Marines. In May 2018, he was promoted to the substantive ranks of Lieutenant Commander of the Royal Navy, Major of the British Army and Squadron Leader of the Royal Air Force. On January 18, 2020, Buckingham Palace announced that an agreement had been reached for Harry to step back from royal duties, including official military appointments. In February 2021, the palace confirmed that the Duke would give up his position as Captain General of the Royal Marines and hand back all the other honorary military appointments. Personal life. Bachelorhood. Chelsea Davy, the daughter of Zimbabwean, South Africa-based businessman Charles Davy, was referred to as Harry's girlfriend in an interview conducted for his 21st birthday, and Harry said he would love to tell everyone how amazing she is, but once I start talking about that, I have left myself open. There is truth and there is lies, and unfortunately I cannot get the truth across. Davy was present when Harry received his Operational Service Medal for Afghanistan and also attended his graduation ceremony when he received his flying wings from his father. In early 2009, it was reported the pair had parted ways after a relationship that had lasted for 5 years. In May 2012, Harry's cousin Princess Eugenie introduced him to Cressida Bonas, an actress and model who is the granddaughter of Edward Curzon, 6th Earl Howe. On April 30, 2014, it was reported that the couple had parted amicably. Marriage and fatherhood. In July 2016, Prince Harry began a relationship with American actress Meghan Markle. In November, the prince directed his communications secretary to release a statement on his behalf to express personal concern about pejorative and false comments made about his girlfriend by mainstream media and internet trolls. In September 2017, Prince Harry and Markle first appeared together in public at the Invictus Games in Toronto. Their engagement was announced on November 27, 2017 by Harry's father Prince Charles. The announcement prompted generally positive comments about having a mixed-race person as a member of the royal family, especially in regard to Commonwealth countries with populations of blended or native ancestry. On May 19, 2018, the marriage ceremony was held at St. George's Chapel, Windsor Castle. The couple later revealed in the 2021 television interview Oprah with Meghan and Harry that, 3 days prior to the ceremony, they had privately exchanged vows in their garden, in the presence of the Archbishop of Canterbury. However, this earlier exchange of vows was not an official religious or legally recognized marriage. It was reportedly agreed in advance that excess funds generated from the BBC broadcast of the wedding ceremony would go to a charity chosen by the newlywed couple. In April 2020, Feeding Britain was nominated to receive £90,000 from the BBC. The Duke and Duchess initially lived at Nottingham Cottage in London, on the grounds of Kensington Palace. They then moved to Frogmore Cottage in the home park of Windsor Castle. The Crown Estate refurbished the cottage at a cost of £2.4 million, paid out of the sovereign grant, with the Duke later reimbursing expenses beyond restoration and ordinary maintenance. On May 6, 2019, the Duke and Duchess's son Archie Mountbatten Windsor was born. Their office was moved to Buckingham Palace and officially closed on March 31, 2020 when the Sussexes ceased undertaking official engagements in support of the Queen. After some months in Canada and the United States, the couple bought a house in June 2020 on the former estate of Riven Rock in Montecito, California, where they own a chicken coop with hens rescued from a factory farm. The next month, the Duchess suffered a miscarriage. On June 4, 2021, their daughter Lilibet Mountbatten-Windsor was born. The Duke and Duchess own a Labrador named Pulla, and 2 beagles named Guy and Mamma Mia, respectively. Harry is godfather to 5 or 6 children, including the daughters of Major Nicholas Van Cutsem and Jake Warren, his mother's godson, whose father is the Queen's horse racing manager. He became godfather to Charlie van Straubenzee's firstborn daughter in May 2020. Wealth and inheritance. At the time of the announcement of Harry and Meghan's decision to step back as senior members of the royal family in 2020, 95% of the couple's income derived from the £2.3 million given to them annually by Harry's father, Charles, as part of his income from the Duchy of Cornwall. Harry and his brother William inherited the bulk of the £12.9 million left by their mother on their respective 30th birthdays, a figure that had grown since her 1997 death to £10 million each in 2014. In 2002, The Times reported that Harry would also share with his brother a payment of £4.9 million from trust funds established by their great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth the Queen Mother, on their respective 21st birthdays, and would share a payment of £8 million upon their respective 40th birthdays. It was reported that Harry would inherit the bulk of the money left by the Queen Mother for the 2 brothers, as William is set to ascend to the throne, which will bring him more financial benefits. Harry's personal wealth was estimated at £30 million by the Daily Telegraph in 2020. In 2014, Harry and William inherited their mother's wedding dress along with many other of her personal possessions, including dresses, diamond tiaras, jewels, letters, and paintings. The brothers also received the original lyrics and score of Candle in the Wind by Bernie Taupin and Elton John as performed by John at Diana's funeral. Health. In November 2000, he broke his thumb while playing football at Eton and underwent a minor operation. In 2002, it was reported that with Charles's encouragement, Harry had paid a visit to a drugs rehabilitation unit to talk to drug addicts after it emerged that he had been smoking cannabis and drinking at his father's Highgrove house and at a local pub in the summer of 2001. In 2017, Harry acknowledged that with the support of his brother he sought counseling years after his mother's death, stating, "It's all about timing. And for me personally, my brother, you know, bless him, he was a huge support to me. He kept saying this is not right, this is not normal, you need to talk to about stuff, it's okay." Harry added that he struggled with aggression, suffered from anxiety during royal engagements, and was very close to a complete breakdown on numerous occasions. He later added that he had taken on boxing as a way of coping with mental stress and letting out aggression. In his mental health television documentary The Me You Can't See, which premiered in 2021, he added that he underwent 4 years of therapy to address his mental health issues following encouragement from his future wife while they were dating. He also mentioned that he suffered from panic attacks, severe anxiety in his late 20s, and the heavy load of official visits and functions eventually led to burnout. He further stated that he was willing to drink and take drugs, adding that he wasn't drinking Monday to Friday, but would probably drink a week's worth in one day on a Friday or a Saturday night to help him cope with his issues. In 2021, American journalist Katie Couric recounted a meeting with Harry in her memoir and alleged that during her 2012 interview with him in Belize to mark the Queen's Diamond Jubilee he smelled of cigarettes and alcohol, which seemed to ooze from every pore of his body. In an episode of Armchair Expert, he attributed his mental health issues to the ineffective parenting style of previous generations and to the genetic pain and suffering passed down in his family, adding that his issues stemmed from the pain or suffering that perhaps my father or my parents had suffered. In a February 2022 live stream for Better Up, Harry stated that he meditated on a regular basis to maintain his mental health. Political views. Members of the British royal family are politically neutral by convention. However, In September 2020, Harry and his wife released a video addressing American voters to reject hate speech, misinformation, and online negativity in the 2020 United States presidential election, which was seen by some as an implicit endorsement of Joe Biden. Harry was the subject of a prank by the Russian comedy duo Vovan and Lexus, who posed as climate activist Greta Thunberg and her father during 2 phone calls on New Year's Eve and January 22, 2020. During the conversations, Harry described his decision to leave the monarchy as not easy and criticized Donald Trump's stance on climate change and his support of the coal industry. Harry identifies as a feminist. As part of an interview with Gloria Steinem in August 2020, he was quoted as saying, "You know that I'm a feminist too, right, Gloria? It's really important to me that you know that." In May 2021, Harry was a guest on Dax Shepard and Monica Padman's podcast Armchair Expert, during which he talked about the freedom of speech and laws related to it in the United States, stating, "I've got so much I want to say about the First Amendment as I sort of understand it, but it is bonkers." He added that it was a huge subject and one which understand, emphasizing that one could capitalize or exploit what's not said rather than uphold what is said. The comments were met by backlash from conservative Americans and Britons, prompting figures such as Ted Cruz, Dan Crenshaw, Nigel Farage, Candace Owens, Jack Posobiec, and Laura Ingraham to criticize him publicly. In November 2021, in a panel at Wired's Rewired conference, Harry claimed that a day before the January 6 United States Capitol attack he emailed Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, and warned of potential civil unrest, but had not received a response. He added that he and Meghan were no longer on social media, and would avoid it until things change. In the same month, conservative politician and MP Johnny Mercer, who was leading the efforts to waive visa fees for foreign-born UK veterans and their families, announced in the Commons that the Duke of Sussex was supportive of their proposal and viewed it as morally right and not as a political intervention. In June 2022, in an interview with Jessica Yellin for Vogue, Meghan described Harry's reaction to the Supreme Court of the United States' decision that abortion is not a protected constitutional right as guttural. Harry later condemned the decision as rolling back of constitutional rights in his address to the United Nations on Mandela Day in July 2022. Associate Justice of the Supreme Court Samuel Alito, who wrote the majority decision for the case, criticized foreign figures including Harry for their comments on American law during a speech. Public life. At the age of 21, Harry became a Counselor of State and began his duties in that capacity. On January 6, 2009, the Queen granted Harry and William their own royal household. Previously, William and Harry's affairs had been handled by their father's office at Clarence House in central London. The new household released a statement announcing they had established their own office at nearby St. James's Palace to look after their public, military and charitable activities. In March 2012, Harry led an official visit to Belize as part of the Queen's Diamond Jubilee celebrations. He continued to the Bahamas and Jamaica, where the Prime Minister, Portia Simpson Miller, was considering initiating a process of turning Jamaica into a republic. He then visited Brazil to attend the Great Campaign. Harry also played tambourine and took part in the music video for the song Sing, which was released in May 2012 to commemorate the Diamond Jubilee. Between 9 and May 15, 2013, he made an official visit to the United States. The tour promoted the rehabilitation of injured American and UK troops, publicized his own charities and supported British interests. It included engagements in Washington, D.C., Colorado, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. He met survivors of Hurricane Sandy in New Jersey. In October 2013, he undertook his first official tour of Australia, attending the International Fleet Review at Sydney Harbour. He also paid a visit to the Australian SAS HQ in Perth. In May 2014, he visited Estonia and Italy. In Estonia, he visited Freedom Square in the capital Tallinn to honor fallen Estonian soldiers. He also attended a reception at the Estonian Parliament and a NATO military exercise. In Italy, Harry attended commemorations of the 70th anniversary of the Monte Cassino battles, in which Polish, Commonwealth and British troops fought. On November 6, 2014, he opened the Field of Remembrance at Westminster Abbey, a task usually performed by Prince Philip. Before reporting for duty to the Australian Defence Force, Harry visited the Australian War Memorial in Canberra on April 6, 2015. On May 7, 2015, he made a farewell walkabout at the Sydney Opera House and visited Macquarie University Hospital. On 24–25 April 2015, he joined his father in Turkey to attend commemorations of the centenary of the Gallipoli campaign. On October 28, 2015, he carried out one day of engagements in the U.S. He launched the Invictus Games Orlando 2016 with First Lady Michelle Obama and Second Lady Jill Biden at Fort Belvoir. He later attended an Invictus Games board meeting and a reception to celebrate the launch at the British ambassador's residence. On November 26, 2015, as patron of Sente Bale, Harry travelled to Lesotho to attend the opening of the Mamohato Children's Centre. From November 30 to December 3, 2015, he made an official visit to South Africa. He visited Cape Town, where he presented the insignia of the Order of the Companions of Honour to the Archbishop on behalf of the Queen. Harry also played the Sente Bale Royal Salute Polo Cup, at Val-de-Vie Estate in Cape Town, fundraising for Sente Bale. He visited Nepal 1923 March 2016. He stayed until the end of March 2016 to help rebuild a secondary school with Team Rubicon UK, and visited a hydropower project in central Nepal. In April 2018, he was appointed Commonwealth Youth Ambassador, a position which he held until March 2020. Also in that month, Harry became a patron of Walk of America, a campaign which brings together a number of veterans who will take part in a 1,000-mile expedition across the U.S. in mid-2018. The Prince was appointed the President of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, which focuses on projects involving children and welfare of prisoners, in April. Periodically, online QCT chat sessions were conducted and uploaded to YouTube for general public viewing. He remained the charity's president until February 2021. In July 2018, Harry travelled to Dublin, Ireland, alongside his wife Meghan, which marked their first overseas visit as a couple. In October 2018, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex travelled to Sydney, Australia, for the 2018 Invictus Games. This formed part of a Pacific tour that included Australia, Fiji, Tonga, and New Zealand. During their visit to Morocco in February 2019, the Duke and Duchess focused on projects centered on women's empowerment, girls' education, inclusivity, and encouragement of social entrepreneurship. As part of establishing a separate office from Kensington Palace in 2019, the Duke and Duchess created an Instagram social media account, which broke the record for the fastest account at the time to reach 1 million followers. During his trip to Angola in 2019, the Duke visited the Born Free to Shine project in Luanda, an initiative by First Lady Ana Diaz Lourenco which aims to prevent HIV transmission from mothers to babies through education, medical testing, and treatment. He also met HIV and youth and teenagers during his visit. During his visit to the Luanguluyana National Park, the Duke unveiled an initiative by the Queen's Commonwealth Canopy to help with protecting an ancient elephant migration route by providing safe passage for them in the forest. In September and October 2019, A Southern African tour included Malawi, Angola, South Africa, and Botswana. Because infant son Archie traveled with the Sussexes, this was their first official tour as a family. Stepping back. In January 2020, the Duke and Duchess announced that they were stepping back from their role as senior members of the royal family, and would balance their time between the United Kingdom and North America. A statement released by the palace confirmed that the Duke and Duchess were to become financially independent and cease to represent the Queen. The couple retain their HRH stylings but are not permitted to use them. The formal role of the Duke and Duchess was subject to a 12-month review period, ending in March 2021. In March 2020, Harry attended the opening of the Silverstone Experience in Silverstone Circuit together with racing driver Lewis Hamilton. Harry's appearance at the museum was his final solo engagement as a senior royal. He and Meghan attended the Commonwealth Day service at Westminster Abbey on March 9, 2020, which was their last engagement as a couple before they officially stepped down on March 31. 2 years later, they made their first official appearance in the UK in June 2022 while attending the Platinum Jubilee National Service of Thanksgiving. They visited the UK and Germany in September 2022 for a number of charity events in Manchester and Dusseldorf. On September 8, 2022, while Harry and Meghan were in London preparing to attend a charity event, Queen Elizabeth II died at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. Meghan stayed in London and the couple chose not to attend the charity event that night, while Harry headed to Balmoral. Civilian career and investments. In summer 2019, before announcing their decision to step back in January 2020, Harry and his wife were involved in talks with Jeffrey Katzenberg, the founder of the now-defunct streaming platform Quibi, over a possible role in the service without gaining personal profits, but they eventually decided against joining the project. In September 2019, it was reported that the couple had hired New York-based PR firm Sunshine Sachs, which represented them until 2022. In June 2020, they signed with the Harry Walker Agency, owned by media company Endeavour, to conduct paid public speaking engagements. In September 2020, the Sussexes signed a private commercial deal with Netflix to develop scripted and unscripted series, film, documentaries, and children programming for the streaming service. In October 2020, the couple hosted a special episode of Time 100 Talks with the theme being on engineering a better world. In December 2020, the Duke and Duchess signed a multi-year deal with Spotify to produce and host their own programs through their audio producing company, Archewell Audio. A holiday special was released by the couple on the service in December 2020. In March 2021, San Francisco-based mental health startup BetterUp, a company that helps people get in contact with coaches or counselors, said that Harry would become its first chief impact officer. He will help promote mental fitness and expand the company's roster of coaches and customers, among other duties. Harry added that he had been working with a BetterUp coach himself and found it invaluable. In the same month, Harry was appointed as a commissioner for the Aspen Institute's Commission on Information Disorder to carry out a 6-month study on the state of misinformation and disinformation in the United States. The study was published in November 2021 as a report with 15 recommendations. In the following month, in his capacity as BetterUp's Chief Impact Officer, Harry was interviewed by Fast Company, stating that the recent trend of people leaving their jobs was something that needed to be celebrated, though his remarks were criticized for coming from a position of privilege. In April 2022, reports emerged of criticism by the company's coaches over the new metrics placed for evaluating their services and over the opacity surrounding Harry's actual role in the firm. In April 2019, it was announced that Harry was working as CEO, creator and executive producer on a documentary series about mental health together with Oprah Winfrey, which was initially set to air in 2020 on Apple TV+. It was later announced that the series, titled The Me You Can't See, would be released on May 21, 2021. In the following month, UCAS reported an increase in the percentage of students declaring mental health issues on their university applications, citing self-help books and Prince Harry's statements on his struggles with panic attacks and anxiety as contributing factors. In September 2021, Harry and Meghan went to New York, where they visited the 9/11 memorial with New York Governor Kathy Hochul and New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, and held meetings with the UN Deputy Secretary-General Amina J. Mohammed and the U.S. Ambassador to the UN Linda Thomas-Greenfield. In October 2021, Harry and Meghan announced their partnership with Ethic, a sustainable investment firm based in New York City, which also manages the couple's investments. According to state filings from Delaware, where the couple's Arch Ewell Foundation is registered, Harry and Meghan incorporated 11 companies and a trust beginning in early 2020, which include Orinoco Publishing LLC and Peka Publishing LLC to hold the rights for their books, as well as Cobblestone Lane LLC and IPHW LLC, which are holders of their foundation's logos. In July 2021, it was announced that Harry was set to publish a memoir via Penguin Random House, with proceeds from its sales going to charity, and Harry reportedly earning an advance of at least $20 million. It will be ghostwritten by novelist J.R. Moringer. The memoir is reportedly part of a 4-book publishing deal that also includes a second book by Harry and a wellness guide by Meghan. The memoir, titled Spare, is due to be published on January 10, 2023. The book will be published in 16 languages and some of the proceeds will be donated to charity. Charity work, humanitarian and environmental activities. In 2006, he was in Lesotho to visit Manse Children's Home near Mohil's Hoek, which he first toured in 2004. Along with Prince Sizo of Lesotho, he launched Sente Bail, the Prince's Fund for Lesotho, a charity to aid children orphaned by HIV/AIDS. He has granted his patronage to organizations including Well Child, Dolan Simru, MAP Action, and the London Marathon Charitable Trust. He stepped down from MAP Action in 2019 and the London Marathon Charitable Trust in 2021. In 2007, William and Harry organized the Concert for Diana, in memory of their mother, which benefited the charities and patronages of Diana, William, and Harry. In October 2008, Harry and his brother embarked on the 1,000-mile 8-day Enduro Africa motorbike ride across South Africa to raise money for Sente Bail, UNICEF, and the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund. In September 2009, William and Harry set up the foundation of Prince William and Prince Harry to enable the princes to take forward their charitable ambitions. Harry left the charity in June 2019. After taking part in an unfinished trip to the North Pole with Walking with the Wounded in 2011, Harry joined the charity's 200-mile expedition to the South Pole in December 2013, accompanying 12 injured servicemen and women from the UK, the US and the Commonwealth. As patron of Walk of Britain, he walked with the team on September 30 and October 20, 2015. To raise awareness for HIV testing, Harry took a test live on the Royal Family Facebook page on July 14, 2016. He later attended the 21st International AIDS Conference in Durban, South Africa, on July 21, 2016. On World AIDS Day, Harry and Rihanna helped publicize HIV testing by taking the test themselves. Since 2016, Harry has been working with Terence Higgins Trust to raise awareness about HIV and sexual health. In November 2019, to mark the National HIV Testing Week, the Duke interviewed HIV and rugby player Gareth Thomas on behalf of the Trust. In December 2017, Harry guest-edited BBC Radio 4's Today programme, conducting interviews with his father, the Prince of Wales, former US President Barack Obama, and others on issues such as youth violence, the armed forces, mental health, the Commonwealth, conservation, and the environment. On December 27, 2017, Harry was officially appointed the new president of African Parks, a conservation NGO. He previously spent 3 weeks in Malawi with African Parks, where he joined a team of volunteers and professionals to carry out one of the largest elephant translocations in history. The effort to repopulate areas decimated due to poaching and habitat loss moved 500 elephants from Lwanda and Majit National Parks to Nkhotakota Wildlife Reserve. Harry had previously helped with relocating rhinos in the Okavango Delta and later became patron of the Rhino Conservation Botswana. In July 2018, the Elton John AIDS Foundation announced that the Duke of Sussex and British singer Elton John were about to launch a global coalition called MenStar that would focus on treating HIV infections in men. In March 2019, Prince Harry gave a speech at We Day UK, an annual event organised by We Charity to inspire young people to become more active towards global social and environmental change. He discussed mental health, climate change, and the importance of social participation. In May 2019, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex together with Harry's brother and sister-in-law launched Shout, the UK's first 24/7 text messaging service for those who suffer from mental issues. Harry attended a Google summit in August 2019 and gave a speech on the importance of tackling climate change in Sicily. He explained that he and Meghan plan to have no more than 2 children to help sustain the environment. In September 2019, the Duke launched Travelist during his visit to the Netherlands after 2 years of development. The initiative is set to encourage sustainable practices in the travel industry and tackle climate change and environmental damage, in collaboration with a number of companies, including TripAdvisor, Booking.com, Trip, Skyscanner, and Visa Inc. The organization later announced a partnership with Google in 2021. In October 2019, along with other members of the royal family, Harry voiced a Public Health England announcement for the Every Mind Matters mental health program. In February 2020, Harry recorded a new version of the song Unbroken with Jon Bon Jovi. The new version features backing vocals from members of the Invictus Choir. The song was released on March 27, 2020, the proceeds of which were donated to the Invictus Games Foundation. In April 2020, Harry launched a new initiative named HeadFit, a platform designed to provide mental support for members of the armed forces. The initiative was developed mutually by the Royal Foundation's Heads Together campaign, the Ministry of Defence, and King's College London. In April 2020, the Duke and Duchess delivered foods prepared by the Project Angel Food to Los Angeles residents amidst the COVID-19 pandemic in the United States. In June 2020, the couple backed the Stop Hate for Profit campaign and encouraged CEOs of different companies to join the movement. In August 2020, Harry and Meghan collaborated with BABY2BABY and participated in drive-through distribution of school supplies to students. During the UK's Remembrance Week in November 2020, he joined American veterans from the Mission Continues service platoons to distribute food with Compton veterans and the Walker Family Events Foundation in Compton, California. In April 2021, Harry and Meghan were announced as campaign chairs for Vax Live, the concert to reunite the world, an event organized by Global Citizen to increase access to COVID-19 vaccinations. They also announced their support for a vaccine equity fundraiser initiated by the same organization, and penned an open letter to the pharmaceutical industry CEOs urging them to address the vaccine equity crisis. Later that month, he narrated Hope Starts Here, a special video re-released by African Parks to mark the Earth Day, in which he urged organizations and communities to preserve biodiversity and paid tribute to his grandfather Prince Philip for his efforts as a conservationist. He helped with the establishment of Peak State, a mental fitness program aimed at providing tools and resources for managing mental health, to which he publicly lent his support in May 2021. Like his mother, Harry has worked with the Halo Trust, an organization that removes debris, particularly landmines left behind by war. He had previously visited a minefield in Mozambique with the charity and spent 2 days learning about their work and mine-clearing techniques. In 2013 he was named as patron of the charity's 25th anniversary appeal. In April 2017, he hosted the Landmine-Free 2025 reception at Kensington Palace, during which the UK government announced an increase in its financial support for demining efforts. In September 2019, he walked through a demining site in Angola, the same country visited by his mother 22 years earlier. In June 2021, after 10 members of the trust were killed by an armed group at a mine clearance camp in Afghanistan, Harry issued a statement saying the attack was nothing less than an act of barbarism. In September 2021, together with First Lady Jill Biden, he hosted a virtual event for the Warrior Games, which were cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In the same month, Harry and Meghan spoke again in support of vaccine equity at the Global Citizen Live concert. In October 2021, he spoke against oil drilling in the Okavango River in an op-ed for the Washington Post. In the same month and ahead of the 2021 G20 Rome Summit, Harry and his wife penned an open letter together with the Director General of the World Health Organization Tedros Adhanom, asking the G20 leaders to expedite efforts for the global distribution of COVID-19 vaccines. In January 2022, and following criticism aimed at Spotify for their handling of COVID-19 misinformation, Harry and Meghan made an announcement stating that since April 2021 they had begun expressing concerns about the issue on the platform. In March 2022, they were among more than 100 people who signed an open letter published by the People's Vaccine Alliance, asking for free global access to COVID-19 vaccines and calling out the UK, EU, and Switzerland for opposing a waiver that would allow vaccine intellectual property protections to be lifted. In April 2022, and in a video featuring Rhys Darby and Dave Fane on Maury Television, Harry launched an eco-travel campaign through his non-profit Travelist, encouraging people to travel sustainably. In August 2022, Harry traveled to Africa in his role as president of African Parks to welcome a gathering of a group of U.S. officials, conservationists, and philanthropists, as they tour protected wildlife and nature areas. Sport. Harry enjoys playing many sports, including competitive polo, skiing, and motocross. Like his brother and father, he has participated in polo matches to raise money for charitable causes. Harry is also a keen rugby football fan and supported England's bid to host Rugby Union's 2015 Rugby World Cup, and presented the trophy at Rugby League's 2019 Challenge Cup finals. In 2004, Harry trained as a rugby development officer for the Rugby Football Union and coached students in schools to encourage them to learn the sport. He, along with former rugby player Brian Moore, both argued that in response to Black Lives Matter, the song Swing Low, Sweet Chariot should no longer be sung in rugby context. Until February 2021, he was the patron of both the Rugby Football Union and Rugby Football League, Rugby League's governing body in England. In 2012, together with the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, Harry launched Coach Corps. The program was set up following the 2012 Olympics and provides apprenticeship opportunities for people who desire to pursue a career as a professional coach. In January 2017, Harry visited the running charity and its partner DePaul UK to highlight the role of sport in helping homeless and vulnerable people. In June 2019, the Duke was present at the launch of Made by Sport, a charity coalition set to raise money to boost sport in disadvantaged communities. In his statement, he lent his support to the charity by arguing that its role in bringing sport into the life of disadvantaged people would save hundreds of millions of pounds towards treating the issues among young people. Sussex Royal and Arch Ewell. In June 2019, it was announced that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex would split from the Royal Foundation and establish their own charity foundation by the end of 2019. Nevertheless, the couple would collaborate with Harry's brother and his wife on mutual projects, such as the Mental Health Initiative Heads Together. In July 2019, Harry and Meghan's new charity was registered in England and Wales under the title Sussex Royal, the Foundation of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. On February 21, it was confirmed that Sussex Royal would not be used as a brand name for the couple following their withdrawal from public life. On August 5, 2020, Sussex Royal Foundation was renamed MWX Foundation and dissolved the same day. In March 2021, it was reported that the Charity Commission for England and Wales was conducting a review of the Sussex Royal Organisation in a regulatory and compliance case regarding its conduct under charity law during dissolution. Representatives for the couple claimed that Sussex Royal was managed by a board of trustees and that suggestion of mismanagement directed exclusively at the Duke and Duchess would be incorrect. The commission later concluded that the foundation did not act unlawfully, but criticized the board of directors for expending a substantial proportion of funds to setting up and closing the charity. In April 2020, Meghan and Harry confirmed their new foundation would be called Arch Ewell. The name stems from the Greek word archi, which means source of action, the same word that inspired the name of their son. Arch Ewell was registered in the United States. Its website was officially launched in October 2020. Public image. In his youth, Harry earned a reputation for being rebellious, leading the tabloid press to label him a wild child. At the age of 17, he was seen smoking cannabis, drinking underage with friends, and clashing physically with paparazzi outside nightclubs. In early 2005, he was photographed at a colonial and native-themed costume party in Wiltshire wearing a Nazi German Afrika Korps uniform with a swastika armband. He later issued a public statement apologizing for his behavior. In an interview for his 21st birthday, he stated that it was a very stupid thing to do and I've learned my lesson. In January 2005, in response to an inquiry about his Zimbabwean girlfriend Chelsea Davy, Harry responded, "She's not black or anything, you know." In January 2009, the British tabloid, The News of the World, revealed a video made by Harry 3 years earlier in which he referred to a Pakistani fellow officer cadet as "our little Paki friend" and called a soldier wearing a camouflage hood a raghead. These terms were described by the leader of the opposition at the time, David Cameron, as unacceptable, and by the Daily Telegraph as racist. A British Muslim youth organisation called Harry a thug. Further extracts showed him telling a comrade "I love you" before giving him a kiss on the cheek and licking his face, and asking another whether he felt gay, queer, or on the side. He was also filmed pretending to have a call with his grandmother, stating "I've got to go, got to go. Send my love to the corgis and grandpa. God save you." Clarence House immediately issued an apology from Harry, who stated that no malice was intended in his remarks. In the same year, British stand-up comedian Stephen K. Amos alleged that after a stand-up show for the Prince of Wales's 60th birthday celebrations in November 2008, Harry had commented on his performance by saying, "You don't sound like a black chap," though he hoped that the remarks were made in jest. In October 2007, a video from Harry's trip to Namibia with his friends surfaced, which showed him snorting vodka and licking a male friend's nipples. While on holiday in Las Vegas in August 2012, Harry and an unknown young woman were photographed naked in a Wynn Las Vegas hotel room, reportedly during a game of strip billiards. The pictures were leaked by American celebrity website TMZ on August 21, 2012, and reported worldwide by mainstream media on August 22, 2012. The photographs were shown by the American media, but British media were reluctant to publish them. Royal aides suggested Clarence House would contact the Press Complaints Commission if British publications used the pictures. St. James's Palace confirmed that Harry was in the photographs, saying that he was essentially a victim whose privacy had been invaded, and contacted the PCC upon hearing that a number of British newspapers were considering publishing the photographs. On August 24, 2012, The Sun newspaper published the photographs. In September 2010, Harry was the subject of an animal cruelty investigation by the Hullingham Polo Association after his polo pony was pictured with a wound on its side that some animal welfare activists alleged was caused by spikes on his spurs. He was cleared of any wrongdoing or cruelty after an independent vet concluded that it was more likely the wound had been caused by a collision rather than spurs. In view of their environmental activism, Harry and his wife were criticized in August 2019 for reportedly taking 4 private jet journeys in 11 days, including one to Elton John's home in Nice, France. The criticism was in line with the reactions the royal family faced in June 2019, after it was revealed that they had doubled carbon footprint from business travel. Harry received backlash again in August 2021 and 2022 for taking a 2-hour flight on private jets between California and Aspen, Colorado, to participate in an annual charity polo tournament. In June 2022, and on their way to California after the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, Harry and Meghan boarded a private jet that was estimated to have emitted 10 times more carbon than flying commercial. In July 2019, Harry and his wife attended the premiere of The Lion King in London. Their attendance garnered commentary and criticism as it took place on the date of a memorial concert for the Royal Marines killed by the IRA, to which Harry was invited as Captain General of the Royal Marines, but had declined to attend. In December 2021, reports emerged about Harry's meetings with Saudi businessman Mahfouz Mare Mubarak bin Mahfouz, whose receipt of a CBE became the subject of an investigation by the Scottish charity regulator. Mahfouz had met Prince Harry in 2013 and 2014 and donated £50,000 to his charity Sente Bail and £10,000 to Walking with the Wounded, of which Harry is patron. The Sunday Times claimed that the meetings with Harry opened the way for Mahfouz to get access to the Prince of Wales. Harry referred to the incident as the CBE scandal in December 2021 and stated that he severed ties with Mahfouz in 2015 after expressing growing concerns about his motives, though aides from his father's household denied having any discussions with him regarding Mahfouz. A spokesperson for Sente Bail defended the meetings and added that there was not any impropriety regarding the donations. In 2018 and 2021, Harry was selected as one of the 100 most influential people in the world by Time magazine. In 2019, the magazine named Harry and his wife among the 25 most influential people on the Internet. In 2021, they were featured on one of the magazine's 7 worldwide Time 100 covers. Privacy and the media. Legal issues and incidents. Associated Newspapers Limited. Other cases. Oprah interview and Twitter trolling. Harry and his wife were interviewed by Oprah Winfrey in a television special for CBS, broadcast on March 7, 2021. Meghan spoke about stepping into life as a royal, marriage, motherhood, and how she is handling life under intense public pressure. Harry joined her later, and the pair talked about the initial difficulties associated with their move to the United States in 2020 and their plans for the future. During the interview, Harry criticized his father's parenting style while he was trying to deal with the death of his mother. He mentioned his father did not answer his calls and had cut him off financially, and he had no relationship with his brother, Prince William, stating the relationship is space, at the moment. Time heals all things, hopefully. There was a wide and polarized reaction to the interview. In October 2021, Twitter analytics service bot Sentinel released their analysis of more than 114,000 tweets about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, as a result of which they found 83 accounts with a combined number of 187,631 followers responsible for approximately 70% of the negative content posted about the couple. The report prompted an investigation by Twitter. Twitter stated that it found no evidence of widespread coordination between the accounts, and said that it had taken action against users who violated Twitter's conduct policy. Bot Sentinel also released 3 more reports in the following months, arguing that the accounts were part of a bot network and a similar network could be found on YouTube. In January 2022, the BBC named Harry and Meghan among people whose photos and videos were used in fake instant profits advertisements and Bitcoin-related investment schemes. Titles, styles, honors, and arms. Titles and styles. September 1984 – May 19, 2018, His Royal Highness Prince Henry of Wales. May 19, 2018 – Present, His Royal Highness the Duke of Sussex in Scotland. May 19, 2018 – Present, His Royal Highness the Earl of Dumbarton. On the morning of his wedding, Elizabeth II granted him the Dukedom of Sussex, as well as 2 subsidiary titles, Earl of Dumbarton and Baron Kilkeel. Harry uses the earldom in Scotland and the barony in Northern Ireland. On January 18, 2020, Buckingham Palace announced that, following their decision to step back from royal duties, from March 31, 2020 Harry and his wife would not use their Royal Highness styles, but as a British prince, he will not be stripped of his style and titles. Before his marriage, Harry used Wales as his surname for military purposes and was known as Captain Harry Wales in such contexts. On June 4, 2015, as part of the 2015 special honours, Harry was knighted by his grandmother, the Queen, for services to the sovereign, being appointed a Knight Commander of the Royal Victorian Order. Military ranks. United Kingdom May 8, 2005, Officer Cadet, the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst. April 13, 2006, Cornet, the Blues and Royals. April 13, 2008, Lieutenant, the Blues and Royals. April 16, 2011, Captain, the Blues and Royals. May 14, 2018, Lieutenant Commander, Royal Navy. May 14, 2018, Major, Army. May 14, 2018, Squadron Leader, Royal Air Force. Honors. February 6, 2002, Queen Elizabeth II Golden Jubilee Medal. May 5, 2008, Operational Service Medal for Afghanistan. February 6, 2012, Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal. June 4, 2015, Knight Commander of the Royal Victorian Order. February 6, 2022, Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Medal for in 2017, Order of Isabella the Catholic. Appointments. Former honorary military appointments. Humanitarian awards. Arms. Ancestry. Agneta Colley, Harry is a member of the House of Glucksburg, a cadet branch of the House of Oldenburg, one of Europe's oldest royal houses. Harry's paternal grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, issued letters patent on February 8, 1960 declaring his father to be a member of the House of Windsor. Ancestors on Harry's father's side include most of the royal families of Europe, and on his mother's side, the Earls Spencer, a cadet branch of the Spencer family descended from the Earls of Sunderland. The senior branch are now also Dukes of Marlborough, the Barons Fermoy, and more anciently from Henry Fitzroy, 1st Duke of Grafton, and Charles Lennox, 1st Duke of Richmond, 2 illegitimate sons of King Charles II. Harry and his brother William descend matrilineally from Eliza Kewark, a housekeeper for his 18th-century ancestor Theodore Forbes, a Scottish merchant who worked for the East India Company in Surat. She is variously described in contemporary documents as a dark-skinned native woman, an Armenian woman from Bombay, and Mrs. Forbesian. Genealogist William Adams Wright-Wiesner assumed Kevork was Armenian. In June 2013, Britain's DNA announced that genealogical DNA tests on two of Harry and William's distant matrilineal cousins confirm Kevork was matrilineally of Indian descent. Filmography. Bibliography. Books. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, Forward, in, Connaughton, Chris. Hospital by the Hill. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. Spare. Penguin Random House. ISBN 978-0593593806. Authored articles and letters. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. I have always loved wild places. African parks. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. Social media is dividing us. Together, we can redesign it. Fast Company. Prince Harry, Mangandu, Reinhold. Protect the Okavango River Basin from corporate drilling. The Washington Post. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Meeting the COVID-19 vaccine commitments. World Health Organization. Archived from the original on October 29, 2021. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. Letter from Prince Harry to Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus and Ms. Winnie Byanyima on World AIDS Day. UNAIDS.